back, baby. What? Oh my God, there's flushing, there's all sorts of memes going on in the background, and there's plenty to talk about today as Bitcoin taking a bit of a step back here, and we really do have to consider the potential implications of this move as creating a real pullback. Like when I say a real pullback, I mean like a 10% move or more in this case. And of course, traditional markets continue to march upwards and onwards to the right and up side. Amazing. Fucking amazing. Traditional markets bullish, as always, it seems. Bitcoin, not necessarily. I mean, look, I wouldn't call it like full on bearish or nothing like that, but you know, a real threat here of like an actual pullback, you know, the first real pullback that we've seen on this run. But yeah, while we are here, I mean, holy shit, I do see a lot of people, a lot of familiar faces in the comment section right now. What's up, Mr. Hoy Hoy, Thulo, Cavman, Plain Sailor? Fuck yeah, man. That is indeed the tightest range. Well, for Bitcoin, I mean, it's been one of the more tighter ranges as of recent, but I mean, realistically, it's been all kind of tight ranges since we got into this area and, you know, back in like February and March. You know, even these moves, the upside right here, have been kind of having this like very steady stepping up behavior. It hasn't really been any sort of major moves either which way since, you know, all the way back. And it was really like the end of January where we actually saw this amazing price action over here. Since then, you know, it's been very boring, I think, for the traditional crypto people out there in the world. But yes, we do have a lot of familiar faces here. I fucking love to see it, man. Just my style. Joe Marty, CC. It's been a long time, man. Hope all is well. Phoenix Nations. Hell yes, sir. 79,250. It's only relevant for daily closes. Indeed, it is the same information as of yesterday and the day prior. But I do think, you know, based off of what we're seeing right here, there's a real potential that this does break today. And if it does, I will hold true to my word. And I do look for a deeper pullback. I do look for a much deeper pullback, probably down to like 70,000 bucks, somewhere around there, you know, give or take a little bit from that number. Now, I will personally be a buyer around these numbers if that does happen. But until the end of the day, there is still, I guess, a little bit of hopium here. And with traditional markets doing what traditional markets are doing, maybe it's not the time to, like, you know, jump ahead. But I would say my personal opinion as of this morning is just it really does look like it wants to break down. So perhaps that will be an opportunity. But in the meantime, traditional markets just, you know, continuing on with the fucking mega party. In fact, NASDAQ, like we did identify back on Monday, or I mean, really back over the past couple weeks, this thing is actually leading the markets once again. So we are seeing the rotations favor techs, but not your usual techs, not like the usual Facebook, or I guess not Facebook, it's Meta, Google, you know, Amazon, these sort of names, and Apple. But it's more so a lot of these semiconductors, of course. And then on top of that, we've seen, well, obviously AI and robotics, you know, take a big leg up here. So, you know, this market is once again rewarding the rotational sort of sphere. And I would be looking at these things continue to do well into likely summer at least, as that, you know, these sort of rotations typically do last for about a quarter, you know, more or less. So, so ultimately, you know, with these things kind of doing what they're doing, I don't want to get like super bearish on Bitcoin, nothing like that. I'm not looking for new lows or anything like this. But yeah, if Bitcoin does finish the day below 79,250, got to hold true to the old system. And I would be looking for a much deeper pullback. Again, I will be a buyer, you know, closer to 70,000 bucks, but not necessarily right here. Anyways, un momento, as I do take another sip of this water. And for whatever reason, my camera, I don't know, it seems like there's kind of it's like slightly delayed there. Maybe I need to fuck around with something later on. We'll figure that out later, man. LOLO, what's up, man? You're cutting out for me. I'm cutting out. Can anyone else confirm or deny that statement? We got some witches action as well from Mr. Pow Pow. It seems on my end, everything is okay, but yeah, let me know if the stream is having any sort of issues. Like I said, I'm kind of setting up a new studio right now, so you know, weird shit happens, right? Takes some time to really dial it in. Peter Underwood's here. Fuck yeah, man. Good morning to you as well, sir. And Elroy, what's up? What's up, Mr. Elroy? Fucking good to see you, man. I'm curious if you got any fights lined up soon. And Creighton C, Sam Frangosi, and Arib. Hell yeah, man. Peter Bitcoin says, more intro, please, more. maybe. I actually, I mean, the guy who originally made it, unfortunately, he is, well, for all I know, he's dead at this moment. So I don't really know how to add on to it, man. Like, I actually do want to change it a little bit. Maybe I can use AI to help out with that. But I don't know. At the same time, I don't want to touch it. It has such sentimental value as well. It's a bit laggy. Okay, is the stream laggy or is my camera laggy? Because my camera does look a little bit fucked up on my own end, but the stream itself does look like it's fine. I'm not getting any. I'm not getting any issues. from the services over here. So from everything that I can see, everything is all good in that regard. I don't know, maybe my fucking dog is chewing on the Ethernet cable that's connecting me right now. But God, man, she's so fucking cute. Like, it's hard. It's so difficult to get mad at her and discipline her. But for fuck's sake, man, she loves chewing on these goddamn wires, man. I guess that's just a puppy thing. Maybe only me, but I can't hear anything now. Wait, what? Have you tried turning on your sound? Might be a good idea. Just a camera video. Okay, yeah. It's probably just a camera right there. I'll deal with that a little bit later. Yeah, slight echo as well. Yeah, I do understand that. We are in a rather big room right now. That is not the best soundproof room. I should actually have some native instruments on my microphone to cancel echo, but I just have not gotten around to it just yet. That'll be the next thing on the list. In fact, today is kind of like a more free day for me, so I can start to work on a lot of these things that I've really been waiting for. But my God, man, before I get into more of it, I should let you know, I've been in like a complete fucking work mode for these past month and a half to 2 months now. And I'm working on something new. It's going to be free, by the way. It's going to be 100% free. I'm really, really excited about it. It's going to be a sort of long-term investors, like ultimate fucking beginners course, basically similar to this, to the Central Command AI course, similar to the TA 101 and also the Options 101 playlist as well. But this one, I just think it's relevant to more people. And it's also starting to be more relevant to my own interests as I do switch around to being more of a long-term investor myself. Yeah, I still do a little bit of short-term trading, more or less on options, of which I actually do a bit of an update with my own positions. I did take some, or I had to take some actions in the past 24 hours, probably take a little bit more if Bitcoin finishes the day below 79,250. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, man. Stylistical. What's up, man? Been a while. Don't hear echo. Good. I like to hear that as well. What's happening, Krown? What's up, Mr. G Unit? G fucking Unit, man. Quick little story here, man. As a youngin brought up on the G Unit led by 50 Cent, I was very dismayed to find out that all of that shit was just like a play. Like, they're all actors. They're not fucking real gangsters, man. I mean, maybe they were in like a prior life, but when you really think about it, as you get older, like, do you really think fucking gangsters were like making music videos of themselves, you know, and like they're like dancing it out, and then there's a director in the background saying, guys, sorry, this is not the right direction. Look, we need you to be more hood, you know, put it on a little bit more. We need to be convinced over here, you know, take after take after take after take, getting that shit proper. I mean, at the end of the day, when you really look into that sort of stuff, the 2000s and 2010s, and I mean, really most rappers, like, they're not actual fucking gangsters, obvious. I mean, this is just probably obvious for most people. Like, why would you be advertising your fucking crimes on a goddamn song that you want the world to fucking hear? Duh. Like, holy shit. Although some of them actually are like that, you know, like I think it was Chief Keef. He got caught, but all the people haven't been caught. I mean, what do you have to say about that, man? He was the last of the real G. Look, I love 50 Cent, man, but yeah, I don't know if he was like he was shot. I mean, look, he was shot 9 times. He was a G in a previous life, but yeah, I think once you start singing about fucking Candy Shop, you lose your G card. Look, I still love him. Yeah, Tupac was a real one. Also, one of his bodyguards killed a kid in my home city, you know, where I grew up. That's real G shit, I guess. But yeah, man, have you seen the old what, man? I've actually even read 50 Cent's book, The 50th Law. It's surprisingly good, man. It's actually surprisingly good. Now, it is written with, of course, what's his name? You know, Robert Greene, who I think is, you know, one of the OGs. Not a real gangster, but one of the OGs when it comes to philosophy. Love his stuff, but yeah, 50 Cent definitely had, you know, something in there, and it was actually quite enlightening. Else excited about Eurovision? Oh God, man. No, she doesn't really care about that shit. I mean, she'll probably watch a little bit of it just because, you know, Europeans doing European shit. But goddamn, man, Americans do not know the extent of the cringiness of Europeans. Eurovision, if you didn't know, it's a competition. It's a competition, you know, like sports competition, like soccer, but it's not sports. It's singing. You sing, and every country in Europe has a song, plus other non-European. It doesn't really make sense to me. Like, why is Israel in Europe? It's not European. Why is Australia in Eurovision? It's not European, obviously. But it just shows the exuberant fucking lack of testosterone that is available in fucking Europe. Sorry if that's offensive to you. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sure that there is some, but they definitely don't let it into that shit, man. It is like every fucking what's it called? Stereotype that we have for Europeans. Like these fucking ballless fucks. Kidding, man. Again, I know that that's not most European. And I do understand that there's a counter trend movement going on right now in Europe as well. It's probably, probably about time for them. The pendulum swung a little bit to one side. Now it needs to swing to the other side. We need a little bit of balance. Get rid of both extremes, nuke them, get fucking rid of them, send them to an island and just ignore them and bring it back to the middle, baby. Bring it back to the fucking middle. I love it, man. G Unit was for real. 50 was shot 9 times. Tony was in the pen for years, and the game was a jumped in blood. Fair enough. Fair enough. But still, if you're singing about fucking candy shop, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. My girlfriend is Hungarian. Yeah, they Hungarians are pretty anti-cringe from what I've seen. I actually lived in Budapest for many months. This was more than 10 years ago now. They are Hungary and Poland seem to be like the most fucking anti-Euro. I don't really know the specifics of it, but yeah, that's kind of the gist that I got from living there. But yeah, Tupac was not a gangster. That was his character. Wake up. I don't know. Maybe. Look, I'm not gonna fucking look. I don't actually give a fuck, to be honest with you. I like the tunes. All right. I like the tunes. Okay. They all suck. Eurovision, lol. Yeah, man, it is a little bit lol. Yeah, man, I don't understand why, like, it's called Eurovision, but they don't have all of the European countries, but they do include non-European countries, but it like just doesn't make sense. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, who even wants to be in that shit? It's all Hegelian dialect. What's Hegelian? I'll have to look that one up. I don't know that word, actually. Eastern Europe is a different breed. It really is. Eastern Europe is fucking super based, man. That's like the first time I've really used that word too, but it just seems very appropriate for Eastern Europe. Because obviously Eastern Europe, I mean, shit, man, I lived in Estonia for a while as well. If you were on this channel back in like 2019, you probably remember that. It's actually a really fun time. But those Eastern European countries, man, just because they dealt with, real communism in the not so distant past. I mean, that was back in the 90s basically. They are like staunchly fucking anti-communist and anti-socialist and anti all this stuff, while Western Europe is inching more and more towards that. It's very bizarre to see, but I guess that is just the pendulum of history swinging each and every way. And it's just, I don't know, man, just as an observer, it's very, very, very enticing to study. Anyways, yeah, okay, let's go over a little bit of traditional marks here, then we'll get into Bitcoin, then we'll get to some of these super chats, but I think I've rambled enough. Looking at SPY, again, just this is fucking bullish. Yes, it has gotten into our corrective zone right here. Is yesterday's correction the extent of that correction? I guess so, man, because that ain't fucking bearish. And, the 1618 level is not supposed to be like a major pullback. It's just supposed to be a short and medium-term time frame pullback. In this case, we only really got a short-term pullback, which kind of, I mean, at least in my opinion, it's a little bit disappointing. I would like to see a little bit more on that. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'm still fucking long all this shit anyways, so... it is what it is. Again, SPY still looking at 7730-ish region. That is where I do think we do get a much more major pullback. Overall, still going to be bullish. And again, long term, still good. Still don't want to be bearish on this market. Yeah, there's going to be certain names, certain sectors that are getting rotated down, obviously, especially the ones that were doing incredibly well, at the end of last year. But for the most part, the broad market is still strong and is still pretty crazy. And when you look at earnings, when you look at a lot of these things, from the fundamental side, which I do think matters for long-term investors, it's objectively strong. Again, I'm not trying to put spin on this or anything like that. It's objectively strong for right now. So I think the music's still playing here, certainly in tech stocks as well. I mean, for fuck's sake, man, like look at NASDAQ. This one is absolutely the big winner as of right now, and on the precipice of making new all-time highs. I don't know, probably again today. SPY's already done it, I guess. So, why not NASDAQ at this point? Gold still looking weaker. However, silver not. Silver is like completely opposite of gold right now. Silver has reclaimed the April high. That is a change of behavior to me. I cannot be bearish on silver. I can absolutely be bearish on gold right here. Still working on lower highs and more or less getting rejected right on that green 55 EMA. So to me, that is bearish by the definition of it. And I do have to be biased to the downside here. Still have to be looking for, low 4,000s. I would change my opinion. Again, given the same criteria is met as silver, it just needs to reclaim that April high. And then I'd look for a similar move to silver, gold working back up to like 51, 5,200 and probably upwards and onwards from there. But these are two significantly different charts at the moment. So which one is line is a real question. And usually it's gold is the one that's going to show the real direction. But this is a move that's hard to ignore right here. So shout out to the silver people as of right now. Because they're actually doing a lot better than the gold people. Maybe silver is the real gold. Perhaps that is the way. What else do we want to check out in traditional markets before we move on? I'm sure we'll go through a lot of the singular names. So I won't spend too much time on that, but we can go through maybe some crude light. We haven't checked on this one. Still working below that previous all-time high. Still also not necessarily breaking down. So I don't really have anything new to say here. I think that this ultimately does form a next major high. Not really good at. I don't really have a good track record personally with oil, but when I'm looking at this, there's nothing really new here. Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. I mean, below what was this last week's low? I would confirm bearishness. Above April 29th's high at 110, I'd be a very reluctant bull, I guess. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, I don't trade this because I don't fucking like it. Very much politically driven. So those sort of things I like to avoid personally. Anyways, over to Bitcoin, I do want to highlight that one of our favorite signals is on the precipice of firing off. It is unfortunately the witches who are returning once again. The witches will be returning tonight, actually, as we are through our 14-day period. Oh, fuck, hold on, I can barely see the sky on my screen. There we go. Yeah, so this 14-day period started, on 30th of April. So tomorrow, the 14th of May, we will get the official bearish moon, We will officially get the bear moon. And these have generally been followed by periods of downside. The only period where this really didn't work that well would be back here, which was actually the most recent one on the 17th of April. It did produce an initial short-term downside move, but it wasn't any sort of like major reversal. There wasn't like a bigger move on top of that. And ultimately the period did even, trade higher than that with time. Now, other than that, all of the previous ones going back to October or all the way back to even July of last year did produce some nice downside movement. And were kind of cautionary periods, I suppose, for just generally being bearish. So in this case, with Bitcoin kind of brushing up against a major moving average like this, the 200 simple, and also putting in some bearish divergence, which we went over yesterday and the day prior, plus, low volatility right here represented by the BBWP, that is a setup for a real breakdown. But again, my line in the sand is the same line in the sand that we've been having now for the past, I guess, going back to last Thursday, which is last Thursday's low at 79,250. Any sort of a daily closure below there does initiate the rest of the dominoes, of which I would be looking for Bitcoin to work its way down, close to 70,000 bucks with bounces along the way. 76 and change should be a nice bouncy region, as well as 73.5 to 74. And then from there, back down to 70 is kind of where I'd be looking towards. The market funny rates for Bitcoin also would, support downside from here. We are seeing positive rates, probably about the highest positive rates that we've seen in the past few weeks. So this is a bit of a crowded long opportunity. So what I'm saying here is that if there ever was a time to break down, this is the time. I don't have my trigger just yet, but I do respect people who are trading to the downside from here. But yeah, come today's closure, basically here or lower, you will hear me switch my own tune. So yeah, there is that. On top of that, when we go over here and reference Pesto's Fear and Greed Index, I should go over that the Fear and Greed Index actually did hit a pretty significant high right here, which has been marking off a lot of the local highs. The one that hasn't worked out was actually, again, the most recent one, which did come alongside the most recent bear moon, if you will. That was right here. But all the other ones, have marked off some pretty significant lower highs before deeper retracements. This one over here, obviously getting a nice retracement from about 75,000 bucks all the way down to 65,000 bucks. These ones over here marking off this local high at about 95 before plunging down to our kind of where we're at right now. Before that, you got it on the all-time high. Over here you got this high. Over here you got this high, so on and so forth. So I do look at that as a little bit more cautionary, and yeah, this is a real potential to break down from here. Of course, we go over here to the market terminal on Central Command. We can see that a lot of the long liquidation levels are now moving further south. Why? Because if you recall from yesterday's video, the ones that were right around the 79,250-ish region, those all got hit. I mean, Bitcoin just traded below there, intraday here. So there is that. The next sort of set of long liquidations will happen at about 78,000 bucks. So that is the next sort of area of, I guess rocket fuel being gained. I probably expect a little bit of a bounce there first, to be honest with you. But short-term bounce, I mean, it could easily trade back up to like 79 plus, but that's still that, these are lower highs here. So you do have to respect that. Other than that, what else do I have to say? Oh, yes, the Reverend Ribbons. Jesus Christ, man. How is this not number one? As always, Reverend Ribbons is just getting all of my short and medium term analysis just right succinctly there in one indicator. And we can see that Bitcoin is obviously below the midband right now. The midband actually moved up significantly from yesterday to today. Yesterday was at that 79,250 number. Now today is actually all the way up at 79,500, I think, somewhere around there. 79,800. I'd still be using 79,250 as the line in the sand. I guess if you're like really holding on to hopium here, you could be looking for $78,500 to be a balancing region for a potential higher low. But here's what I go to say. If Bitcoin finishes the day below 79,250, for me, I have to turn bearish, at least in the short term. If Bitcoin can reclaim after that, $80,000, okay, I'll flip around to being bullish again, and I'll be a flippy floppy motherfucker in the short term. But sometimes that is just the way that it is, and that typically does happen for me around major highs and major lows. You'll hear me flip around a lot because that's just what it's designed to do. But once things actually choose a direction, the real key is grabbing onto that new direction, at the first and most important and most likely continuation point. So that's kind of what I'd be saying about that. But yeah, the Reverend Ribbon's actually showing things a little bit not as good, I would say. That pivot point's a little bit higher, but in this case, like I said, 79,250 still my line in the sand. Take a sip of this water right here. And then someone's asking about Lomacella Azul is asking about the quantum wave band 1 hour. Let's go check it out. I haven't brought it up today. Quantum wave band's the hourly one right here. Let's see how this one's doing throughout this chippy choppy. Is going to be giving back some of these gains because it had a pretty fucking crazy one recently. Yeah, it did take a long over here at about almost just below $81,000. Still hold on to that. So I imagine it's probably going to get it out on whatever bounce we get because there does seem to be an impending bounce right here in the short term. Maybe back up to like 79.5, 79.6 wouldn't be asked for too much. Hopefully it gets out on that one. But yeah, this one is in a pretty nasty trade at the current moment. Let's see what the equity curve's looking like at the moment as well. Equity curve, yeah, given some back after having some pretty impressive gains. It's going to be natural right there. I'm curious to see this. This is, and I don't think it's going to work like this, but it would be interesting if the equity curve acts like a support and resistance for a regular chart, right? Like plain technically, in which case we'd see it come back down to that previous all-time high and bounce off of there. It'll be actually very, very interesting. Maybe it goes through a period of losses right here as things do chop around a bit. Definitely possible, but yeah. I would be looking for this one to give the exit signal very, very soon right there. Anyways, I should let you know because I have done a very poor job of this as of recent, that I've released a lot of things as of recent. They are all free, by the way, as well. But the main one that I've released that is free, that was just this past weekend that I really have not done a good job of talking about is the Central Command AI course. So the Central Command, if you're not already familiar with it, it's this platform over here. It has all sorts of cool stuff. And this is all free, by the way, as well. So not only is the tutorial course on how to use it free, but also, the service literally itself is free. How do we do that? It's aligned incentives. Obviously, we go off of referrals for the exchange Bluffin. In that way, we just don't have to, we don't have to charge anything, and you're not spending anything extra anyways. And we also, at least if you use my Bluffin link, you do get a 15% cash back on your trades. But yeah. You can actually set up AI trading agents with this. I have a couple going on right here, and this course goes over exactly how to do that. And what's cool about this, and what's new about this, and what I think is very, 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 very valuable and very, more importantly, attractive for most people, is that in order to set up your AI agent, which will trade for you, whatever the fuck you want it to do, basically, you don't need to program it. You don't need to know code. You don't need to know any of that stuff. What you need to know is what you actually want to fucking do, which is boil down to your entry, exit, and risk management. And if you can fill that out, meaning that you actually have gone through the process of figuring out how to put in a fucking strategy, which, if you haven't done that, by the way, you can check out the free as well, TA 101 program right here on how to do that. Then it forces you into that sort of framework so that you're not just, trading on vibes, which I think is what a lot of people generally do. Or even for the people who do have a strategy, you always come into that situation where, or at some point you're going to come into that situation because you're a human, most likely, where your emotions start to go against you, in which case, what do? You don't actually play your strategy because you freak out in the moment. I'm not like talking down to you. I do this shit too. It's like, it's just the human condition, but when you have something like this going on, it forces you in that framework so you can actually, fuck it up for yourself. But yeah, man, that's all there for you. And again, all of this stuff is free. Literally, the platform's free. The tutorials are free. It's all there in the description below, right here for the Central Command tutorial on how to create your own AI trading agent. You can also even, by the way, a really cool feature of this one too is you can use the AI to create your own custom indicator too. So if you can just like describe what indicator you want, assuming it's actually possible, by the way, you can have it build it for you on the terminal there. You basically get like a professional grade TradingView subscription, for free. Usually those cost like $600 a year, or at least that was, I think, the lower price there as of recent. But yeah. Anyways, I'll move on from there. What else we got, man? What else we got? I think that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. We got some moons. We got a lot of reasons to be looking for a deeper pullback right here. But again, my line in the sand, 79,250 daily closing basis. I'm keeping that consistent right here below there. Yeah, I do look for a bigger slide. A little bit of hopium, maybe like $78,000, or actually it's going to be more like 76,500. But yeah, does exist, I guess. And at some point, you are going to get a test of that green 55 EMA, and there should be a nice bounce from there. So we shall see. We shall see. Time shall go on and reveal all, as always. Anyways, I'm going to scroll up to the top here and get over to the super chats. We have Mr. Warcraft first, but he has no message. No, he says, he goes on there to say, thanks for Lunar. I think that that's just a nice positive message, in which case I say, all good, man. Happy it worked out for you. Again, I have to say thank you to the community for even awareing me of Lunar. If someone didn't point out Lunar back in, this was like back in August of last year when it was trading in the single digits, I wouldn't have known about it, and I wouldn't have been able to say, hey, I think that this is really good, and this has potential for a big trade here. I'm going in, of which now it's, from when we were looking at it, it's like $7-8. Now it's at almost $36. Cool. Look, I still think that this one has higher to go. I think you are at least going to get to about 40, 42 on this rally. From there, should be another pullback into a consolidation. Can it go higher from there? Definitely possible. But, that's still where I'm at for right now. I still hold a lot of this. So full disclosure, I am biased, but, generally I hold things that I actually think are going to do well. It's a crazy idea, I know, but disclosure. Yeah, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing at like 50 plus in summer. But, one thing before the next, want to see how it reacts at about 42 and, go from there, basically. Anyways, moving on. And thank you for that, ma'am. Going on from there, 1236N says Intel 12-hour and daily. In traditional markets, I have to warn you, there is almost zero difference between a 12-hour time frame and a daily time frame. In case you haven't noticed. Let me just show you really quickly here. Why is there not really a difference between the 12-hour time frame and the daily time frame? When you look at these time frames, why can anyone tell me why? Bueller. Look, here's a 12-hour time frame. Here's a daily time frame. Does anyone know? Can anyone hazard a guess? Of course, probably most people know here. And I'm not trying to be a dick to you, dude, but just as a thing, when it comes to traditional markets, think about it this way. How long is a trading day? How long is one trading session in traditional markets? 6.5 hours. If you exclude, obviously, pre and post market, which we're going to exclude because it's still going to be less than a day anyways, less than 12 hours, more importantly. So if you have a trading day of 6.5 hours and you're looking at a 12-hour time frame or a daily time frame, and the sessions are non-contiguous, well, these time frames are literally going to show the same thing. Yeah, a lot of people already know. All good, man. All good. Look, I'm just being a fucking dickhead, man. I'm being an autistic fuckface, so apologies on that, man. But anyways, looking at the daily time frame, the question is, have we found the low for Intel? I'd say it's much too early to say something like that. Overall, it's still bullish. Overall, I don't think that this is going to be the all-time high for very long. I personally would expect a deeper pullback just because this rally's been fucking vertical here, man. I would love to see this thing pull back at least to 110 at some point, and preferably closer to to $100. Those would be a lot more obvious areas to be looking for on higher lows for me. Reconnect with the red 5 EMA on the weekly time frame. That's very, very, very likely to happen on any given week. Higher term time frames, do I think it's topped out? No, I don't think it's topped out for the long term. This is all short term stuff, respectively. If you're on maybe like an hourly time frame, has it found a local low? It has found a local low. In fact, it actually does look pretty strong in an hour time frame. Kind of crazy right there. But personally, I would keep my eye open for potentially a deeper retracement. At some point you are going to get that move down to 100 or 110. You do have a few drives of bearish divergence here on the daily time frame. So the hourly time frame, it can be good for like another move back up to maybe 125. But for rejects there, comes down to 110. That's not like end of the game, but that is a deeper pullback. I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. I personally would not say that the low is in right here if I'm looking at specifically the daily just yet. Again, overall, I am bullish. Overall, I don't think it's, it's going to stop here. If we fast forward 4 to 6 months from now, very likely going to be higher at some point. Is my take. Anyways, crypto Geesh says, GM, sir, NBIS Nebius stock, por favor. Gotcha, man. Okay, so NBIS. On NAS, really good, really fucking good. Obviously, daily making new highs on this rally, weekly making new all-time highs, monthly making new all-time highs. Just an absolute fucking monstrous, girthy, green dildo fucking party, baby. Shove it down my face. Love that shit. Love that shit. Wait, what? What's up? Said something about going down on green dildos and these sort of things. You don't need me to tell you that this thing's fucking bullish, man. I guess the real question is like, what are some upside areas of interest on this breakout? You're at kind of a major one right now at $20, or sorry, not 20, but 204. Obviously that's not stopping things, and I think you kind of already got the pullback. That was basically Monday, Tuesday's move right there. Do I think that this thing goes up to about 235, 243? Yes. Do I think it can go higher than that? Sure. But one thing before the next, I don't really know necessarily what you're looking at. Just give me no timeframes here, no direction. But overall, look, it is a mega breakout. It is a mega continuation move. This is good, man. This is good. Don't overthink these things. It's going higher. This is the time for stuff like this. What does it even do? Packaged software. I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool. Sounds cool, sir. Let's take a sip of this water. Elsa also made a note to me. Tell the community, don't email me about such a command. Yes, in case you didn't know, such a command is it is a separate service. I am not a developer in it. I am an investor in it. Just for full disclosure, but that also means like if you email Elsa, like that's not her business. Like she's not equipped to answer those questions. She's not supposed to answer those questions. You can go to the Central Command Discord, which is actually super easy to do. Just go to centralcommand.io. That like literally just centralcommand.io, and you can join their Discord right here. Again, all this stuff's for free. You can speak literally directly with the developer himself, the main developer himself, who will tell you, whatever the fuck you want to know, assuming that it's knowable, I guess. Anyways, we'll move on from there. We got Great White next. He's looking at Tesla approaching quarterly close high. Relevant? Usually yes, but I think just based off of what we looked at last week, the week prior, and basically the month prior, it is bullish. But yeah, approaching the previous quarterly open. Yeah, I mean, you probably do get a little bit of a short-term pullback there. In fact, maybe that's what you saw on Monday and Tuesday. Overall, this is bullish. I don't have any major issues with this. I don't think that there's anything concerning here at all whatsoever, as long as you're above, let's just say like 400 now. Yeah, I mean, look, if you pull back a little bit from here to like 425, 430, that's fine. Anything above 400 is bullish, man. But I do see what you're saying, and generally, yes, you're going to get a short-term pullback there. But when we fast forward to the monthly timeframes, and when we look at the other higher-term timeframes, it is bullish. I do expect this thing to get to 500 plus, and I do think you do see another mega, massive breakout. Maybe it's like summer to new all-time highs. Yeah, I've zero reason to be bearish on this thing, as long as you're especially above $400 and even above like 330. The March low or April low. Yeah. All right, cool. Bitcoin is eating the fucking floor. Sounds a little bit dramatic. A little dramatic there, sir. David Reynolds says, hey, Krown, PNG on Canadian shitcoin exchange. Okay. They have do they have PNG files on? Canada just got PNG files. Amazing technology. Probably trying for a bounce here, man. Probably bounce back up to like 7.5, maybe even $8. But do have to say, I think that this thing's probably topped out for a while. So while, on the weekly, you're probably going to get more on this bounce. It could even pop up. Yeah, it could even pop up to like a little over $8. I would be very bearish on this thing as long as you're below about 880 to 890. So a little bit of a complicated picture here, because short term, yeah, bounce. Might even bounce for like a week or two. Long term, I think you've topped out for a while. I think you're generally coming back down to $5. This is very obviously a parabolic blow-off top on significant bearish divergence here too. So I think you've topped out for a very long time, and you're going to be moving sideways and down. But yeah, short-term next move is very likely a rally. So yeah. All right, cool. Shanette says Keel. Okay, this is a new one, I think. Keel. Is it a crypto shitcoin? No, it's a real stock. Okay, all right. Infrastructure, I guess. Data processing services, also very popular right now, also very hot. Data processing, so hot right now. That's another meme I need to get. Not my most favorite long term, just because, you know, there's things that are, they just don't have this like long-term, you know, overhang over here. This one goes back to like 2021. It still hasn't made new highs, but you know, it's very likely to fall through. I imagine that's just what most of these things are looking like. This is very obviously your next higher low. So I don't have a reason to be bearish here. I do think overall it is bullish, but if you're on a daily time frame, is it putting in a local high in the daily time frame and maybe it works back down to like $3.50 and then tries the next upside move? Perhaps yes. I don't know if it's that relevant. It is overall bullish. Weekly's bullish as well. You know, poised to retest somewhere around 5.25, and in the higher term time frames, you know, these things do want to go higher here. It's not bearish. This is a reversal in the making right now. You got, I mean, it's actually, in my opinion, pretty much already a reversal. You got low, high, higher, low. Same-ish highs over here. Technically got rejected, but same highs. And then higher low right here. So you got two higher lows, same highs. Buys is going to be on an upside breakout. So overall, I'm bullish. Daily time frame might pull back a little bit more. I don't know how relevant that is to you, sir. Cool. Batman86 says, hey, Krown, DNN. Okay. Looking like consolidation before continuing higher. I always like it when people add like more context onto it. It helps me like be a little more specific. Anyways, daily time frame specifically, and weekly. Consolidation before continuing higher. Well, for that, I'd actually first want to go to the very high term time frames. Definitely have found like a major high right here. And I do think that it's very possible you come down to like $3 even. Not necessarily bearish there. Should be expecting a big bounce. Consolidation sideways. Do I think it's going to continue more from here? That's the real question. Like, is this thing likely to continue with new highs on this rally? You just rejected from your previous range highs, which is 340 or so. I think it's okay to have that bias as long as you're above about $3. But second you start to lose $3, I would flip around. Like I would flip around in a very violent way and say this thing is actually failing now, and it's likely to come down another 50% towards $2. But I think your current bias right now is it's traditionally what my personal system would also agree with. It's just I would really highlight below about $3. Things change around very nastily for this thing, but for right now, give it a chance to go sideways for a while. I think it's going to take a decent amount of time. I don't think this thing's going to be moving until you get into at least like summer. But to the upside, if you do trade back up about 420, great number. That's obviously bullish. New highs on the rally, new highs, or maybe not new all-time highs, but just, you know, very likely big continuation move. And to the downside, your bottom boundary is about $3, in which case I'd get very bearish off of that. Till then, I think you got another couple months of going sideways, honestly, man. Just my personal opinion on this one. I don't think it's doing anything like super interesting right now. So, you know, if you want to hold it and kind of hope and wait and maybe give a little bit of opportunity costs, that's up to you. But I think the more obvious thing here is just it's probably not moving in any major fashion to either side for a while. We got Andrew Plus next. He's looking at, yeah, you're looking to build. I don't think right here is the best place to do it, personally. Andrew Plus says daily and weekly on FLNC. FLNC, yes. Fluence Energy, okay. No crypto shitcoins today yet, huh? Weird one. It's a weird one for sure, but you do have monthly higher low right here, and you do have same highs right here, so given my system, I will have a bullish bias on this. I don't feel that strongly about it. But if you're just looking at the daily and weekly, you have to be looking for a bounce right here. You filled the gap, and that is your higher low. So as long as this thing's above $18.50 on even a weekly closing base, I'd be bullish on it, and should be expecting a bounce from here. So sideways and up from here, this should be the low. This should be the low of the week. So yeah, that's what I say about that, man. One moment. All right. What else we got over here? Very nice indeed. Oh man, emo's going crazy as always. It's kind of getting a little bit, it's too much. It's too much for me. It's too much. Mr. Ben's chair, been a while. Are we all still gay for TA? Nothing has changed, my man. Nothing has changed. Orthodox One says, Krown, I'm in the money on $35 call strikes on Lunar. Nice. Sold to have my position. I think that was pretty smart. How do you feel about price action during earnings tomorrow? I would sell. Okay, look. Personally, I would sell all of it before earnings. Why? Because you're gonna get fucking volatility crunch. You're gonna lose money on those options. Even if price goes up, if it doesn't go up enough, you're gonna lose money on those options. If I was in that situation, personally, I would be selling off the rest of those calls. Like, you expect volatility to rise into earnings, and then it will get fucking thrown off a cliff after those earnings post. And probably stock does dump as well. But going into tomorrow, you actually might get a little more gains on those, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, overall, like I said, I am bullish on Lunar, but it is starting to get really close to some areas where I'd be expecting a bigger pullback. And if that correlates with earnings, yeah, I look, you got a bunch of money in your hand right now, I'd fucking close your fist. I'd put it that way. And then if you want to reposition, I'd reposition after earnings, like let a few days pass. Probably going to pull back regardless of whether earnings are good or bad. Just how these things work. But in the meantime, probably still got a little bit higher to go. Might even get to $40 before earnings. You can get some crazy shit like that. Cool. JMX says, can you look at LWLG? Lightwave flood. Another new one. Never seen this one before. And another fucking crazy monstrous rally. It's just par for the course at this point. The real shitcoin market is in traditional markets. Who would have thought? Look, you're around previous all-time highs. Always have to look for a pullback around those, but that's not bearish. Obviously, it's an opportunity. And shit, you might have already seen that. I mean, last week was a pullback. This week tried to pull back as well. I'd be bullish from here, actually. Looking at the lower term timeframes, daily timeframe is bullish. Yeah, this thing is probably poised for a retest of the official all-time high at about $19.69 to $20 or whatever. Probably going to see another pullback jump right there. This has been an absolute vertical rally, like literal fucking vertical. I mean, that is just insane. 500% in a quarter almost. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, once you hit that official high, expect a pullback. Pullback is probably gonna be a higher low, but it's gonna get volatile. When you see a move like this, the pullback will be as volatile and as crazy as the upside move. Not necessarily that it's gonna like delete the whole move, but if it has like an intraday move to fucking $13, like I wouldn't be that surprised, I guess. Yeah, man. Long term, I think this thing's probably poised to make new all-time highs this year, but just be aware. Once it hits that like $20 number, it can get very, very, very volatile very fucking quickly. Yarbrook is here. He says, McDonald's. Oh yes, McDonald's. It's not. I mean, it's certainly not my favorite, obviously, because unnecessary carbs and also and also seed oils. Okay, these are really bad too. I mean, they are really bad, but. Look, if you're a long-term investor, I get the idea of investing right here at 270. Do I like it as a long-term investment? Not really personally, just because this thing is not moving that much. But if you want something, I guess, a little bit more steady and dependable, if there ever is such a thing, well, here's your long-term history. I mean, that ain't fucking bad. you got history going back to 1968. So buying on the yellow 21 EMA. Probably not a bad do long term. You've only had a few instances on the quarterly time frame where you've even traded, below that number. You had this over here from 0102, and then you had this over here from the 2020 dump bullet, which was quickly eaten up. So, if you want it there, that's fine. If you're just on a weekly time frame, anywhere between here and about 255 is where I'd be looking for on the next low. Should have a nice rally, but. Yeah, should have a nice rally, maybe get back up to like 293 and $1. But these are like relatively small percentage moves. So to me, it's not that interesting. But I get it. If you just want some very, very long term, not the worst place. If it does fail this area at about 260, it's a long way down to 230, 235. At which point I'd say that's a little bit more of an obvious high value area long term. But still, it's like, what are the sort of returns that you can expect on this thing long term? It's just. It's too mature. It's too, it's got too high of a market cap for this thing to really like move crazily like you see across the markets. But I don't think it's a bad do. It's just, in terms of opportunity cost, there are bigger movers elsewhere. But yeah, you know, this thing, I guess you kind of trade dependability in long-term history for lower gains, which is fine. I mean, that can have a place in a portfolio for sure. Greatbot Hype says KDEF still in daily uptrend. Let's check it out. I remember you brought this one up. I think you brought this one up. This was like a few weeks ago, and I looked at it as like decent actually. Yeah, still decent over here. Still holds the uptrend. I don't have a major issue with this. It's just hopefully it bounces right here. I mean, that would be the ideal position. I guess if I was going to buy this thing, I'd probably buy it right about here. Maybe a little bit closer to like 53.25. But you know, close enough in these cases. Yeah, and the reason why I'd buy it right there is not because it's guaranteed to flip around, but because you have a very easy and obvious invalidation, which is below about $52.50. As long as you're above there, uptrend still holds, still more or less a bullish buy. So you got same highs right here, still operating on higher lows. Again, as long as you're above that $52.50 number or so. So as long as that holds true, you still got the long-term setup, I guess. But it is looking a little bit weaker. And to be fair, right now, and as of recent, for the past few months, the defense stocks have been the ones that have been rotated downwards. After having some of the most insane gains from the last couple quarters of 2025. So I don't know if you want to position around there. I think that's okay. It's just that's your risk. If that's cool with you, I think that's an okay deal. Minimal risk, like less than 5% on this one, in order to figure out if you're going to be right or wrong, pretty much. So yeah, still an uptrend. Again, below 52.5, no uptrend dead. Something else going on and probably wouldn't want it. Yeah, invalidation 52.5, just to answer your question directly. Pricey 9378 says, hey sir, GAW on London Stock Exchange. Thank you for specifying the exchange if it's not US equity. Oh, this is Game Workshop? It's Gay Workshop, yes. Daily plus, okay. Short-term local high right here, long-term bullish, but short-term likely a pullback, bearish divergence on characters RSI 123 drives. So I'm looking for this thing to pop back down to 18,500. Seems like a high price to pay for something like this. Long-term bullish though, so that should be an opportunity. But yeah, I would expect to pull back in the short term. Yeah, long-term. Look, this thing is very likely to make even new all-time highs. Maybe even again this quarter, and probably in the third quarter of this year. Higher term top term is really, really good here, but short term, yeah, pulls back a little bit more. I'd be looking somewhere around 18,500. Worst case scenario is like 17,000 bucks. I don't think it gets down there. Below 16,500, I'd invalidate any bullishness and be extremely fucking bearish. But yeah, kind of far away right now. All right, what's going on over here? I keep on, anytime I go on fucking Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it, I see these posts from Spencer Pratt, who's running for mayor of LA. I don't even live in LA. I haven't lived in California since I was a young Todd. But what I can say is, man, this guy's got to fucking win. Because if you've heard any of these stories about the dogs, what's happening to the fucking dogs on Skid Row, I'm not talking about like the people, by the way. Fuck them. No, I mean, look. The ones who are fucking abusing these dogs, yeah, fuck them, man. Just look, I have no tolerance for that shit. That's, oh, man. Look, I made the mistake of watching some of the videos of what they've been doing to those fucking dogs, those pieces of shit on Skid Row, what they've been doing to the fucking dogs. I wake up at 2 a.m. at night ever since I watched one of those videos, and it's don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't fucking do it, man. Oh my God. Should I even describe? Yeah, man. Hopefully he wins. I don't know if he actually has a chance, but God damn it, he's the only person who's gonna fucking, hopefully clean up Skid Row, because Karen Bass ain't gonna do that. I mean, she's had her time to do that, and the other fucking moron probably not gonna do it either, because, well, dogs don't vote, I guess. So it is that, man. Dude, I saw them fucking light a dog on fire. I saw them glue a dog's eye shut. Okay, saw them staple it shut. Like, oh, it makes me so sick, dude. It makes me so fucking sick. Oh God, he's got to win. He's got to save the fucking dogs. Someone's got to save the fucking dogs. It's bad. It's real bad. Don't look up those videos. I'm telling you. I'm seriously telling you. Don't look up these videos. They even have like, I don't even want to say it. It's too fucked up. Mr. Escobar says, GM Krown, MSTZ weekly, if Bitcoin closed below 79,200. If it closed below 79,200, this thing's probably going to get Oh, it's an inverse. Okay, it's an inverse, so it's probably going to do well. I mean, if Bitcoin closed below there, then yeah, you're probably looking at a nice move back down to what? 3.5? Okay, at least $4. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see right here. At least about $4 or so, maybe more like 3.5 if Bitcoin does break down. But here's the thing, man. MST. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I'm thinking about this the wrong way. This is an inverse. Duh. That's why it has bullish signals, because Bitcoin's bearish. Fucking duh. Krown, you're a retard. Get your mind right. Multiple drives of bullish evidence here on the daily time frame. If Bitcoin does break down, and this thing is saying that it probably does, at least 620. 620 would be a very obvious target for this thing, and potentially as high as about $6.80 to $7. I mean, there's always potential for more, obviously, but those would be the very easy targets for this thing, if that does occur. And yeah, you got multiple drives of a bullish divergence there, man. So there is a real threat of a of a pullback in Bitcoin, and this thing obviously going up because it is inverse. But yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, and then you saw Eline Wang Wong, 58, mayor of Acadia, agreed to plead guilty over felony court brought by the U.S. Justice Department for acting as a Chinese spy. I think there's a lot more of that shit going on than not, man. When you look, everyone has to watch this fucking video. I'm telling you, this is mandatory studying for anyone who lives in a Western world who doesn't like bullshit. It is this video right here. This is the most important video that you'll ever see as a Westerner. It's this guy right here, Yuri Bezmenov, okay? Yuri fucking Bezmenov. He was a former KGB agent, and way back in like 1990 or something like that, when he defected, he did a bunch of interviews going over Soviet subversion tactics, which is the same tactics that China uses as well. Why? Because they work, because they're really fucking good. They know how to get into the media. They know how to get into positions of power. They know how to subvert the people. That is why you see a lot of the younger generations, tend more and more towards socialism and communism. That's why they have these subversion techniques that are effectively soft power that infiltrate media and news sources, and they get these people in those positions, and then they can just spew their fucking shit, which naturally changes the minds of the younger generations. As the younger generations get older and older and older, they become they can vote, and then they can vote themselves into power, and then they have these sort of views. It's genius. I totally get it, because these countries can't win against the U.S. in a military war, obviously. So how are they going to fight? They're going to fight in that way. I get it. It's genius. That's what I would do if I was them, if I was on their side. But I'm not on their fucking side, so fuck them. You got to watch those videos. I'm telling you, man. Yuri Bezmenov. I'm telling you, Yuri fucking Bezmenov. Just search this shit in. You will be enlightened. You don't need to watch the hour and 20-minute one, although it is good. It is good to watch. But this one right here reveals everything. It's just insane, man. All this stuff is still going on. It still works. It's incredible. It's fucking incredible. And highly effective too. Shit, man. I used to fall for this shit when I was a youngin as well. And then when I watched that video, I started to realize, oh shit, I'm just a fucking unthinking moron. I'm just a fucking retard myself. Anyways, Great White Hype says IVEP. IVEP. Okay, what is this? This is a new one, I think. IVEP. Dan Ives Wedbush AI Power and Infrastructure. Okay, another AI and Infrastructure ETF. These things are a dime a dozen right now. 4-hour daily. Yeah, not much history here. Here's what I'd say about this. Look, it probably is bullish, probably is okay. I don't have a strong opinion on it because there is a lack of history, but I would say this. In comparison to the other AI ETFs, it's not performing that well. When I look at a lot of my AI and automation ETFs, especially, they're all making new all-time highs. This thing not making new all-time highs right now is not the best sign. Now, to be fair, it's just been a couple of days. Just a few days where it hasn't made new all-time highs. But when you have a history like this, I just don't have good opinions to base anything off of. I'd have to base it off of the broad market, in which case probably okay, probably fine, probably good. But if you just ask me to look at the daily, I can't do much with this. All I can tell you is probably what's a little bit obvious to you, which is as long as you're above $28, okay, bullish, I guess. I'd err on the side of bullishness. And if you can trade back above $29, I would confirm a real breakout to new all-time highs. If you do lose $28, I would look for a deeper pullback to 26, 27. I don't know how far down it goes because there's just not much history here. So yeah, man. Anyways, Anyways. Also check predictive history Yang on Frank. That Professor Jiang he's a CCP agent as well, man. A lot of people falling for that shit. That guy is just a fucking mouthpiece for CCP shit. I mean, he's literally trying to convince people in the U.S. and he's doing a really good job of it because people are very low IQ and stupid for the most part. You listen to him. He's trying to convince them that the U.S. should just willingly give up power. It's like, can you not fucking see through that? Are you that fucking thick? Can you not fucking see through that? Like, fucking duh. Like, use your goddamn brain. Use your goddamn brain. Just because someone says a couple things that are true doesn't mean that everything that they say is true. It's the same issue as, like, Andrew Tate. Like, he says a couple of things that are obviously true. And then he goes on to say shit that is just like, what the fuck did he just say? It's all tactics. It's all spin. It's spin. And the CCP absolutely does have people like that who go around and try to convince the masses. And they're also supported by these fucking bot farms too. A lot of it in Pakistan, for example. And they make it seem like everyone's on board with this. They're like, because they'll create a bunch of fucking, usernames and whatnot that say like American Patriot, 5909 and all these sort of things. And they make it seem like everyone's on board with this. And they're like, oh yeah, this guy's definitely right. This guy's definitely right, which creates a feeding frenzy, creates a perception that this person is actually legit. But obviously they're not. There's just some fucking dude with 1,000 cell phones in a basement in Pakistan, probably being held at gunpoint to do that anyways. UAMY, starting to be a little bit less interesting here because it is having that bearish divergence. So I do think you're in for a bit of a deeper pullback. Still long term, I think it's okay. I think it's probably okay. But yeah, if you start to see this thing close by below about 980, I would validate a much deeper pullback to $9 even. And that's about a 10% move for this thing, which is a big move. Still, it is bullish as long as you have about $8 because you still do hold those higher lows. But in the short term, that would be a deeper pullback, obviously. Monthly time frame will have issues, however, if you do lose that $9 number. That is a very, very critical number for this thing. Sorry, I would actually go back on that previous statement. $9 is a critical number. $8 is relevant, but not that relevant. If you start to lose $9 on this thing will be topping for a long time. But until then, I would still treat this as a higher low pullback. Should have a bounce attempt somewhere above $9, but below $9, I would not be bullish on this thing. I would not be bullish on this thing any longer. I'm seeing a lot of drives of bearish divergence here on the weekly time frame, so I do think it has a little bit of downside in the short term here, but as long as it's above $9, it should be another higher low. If it trades below $9, I think there's big fucking problems on this thing. You're going to have major drives of bearish divergence right here. I think you're going to see a lot of nasty downside movements. We're talking about 20% moves. Yeah, so it hasn't been rejected. It's been rejected in the short term, sure, but it does still hold the uptrend, so I don't really have a reason to not be bullish on it yet. I will change my opinion below $9. That is where things get really ugly, though. Really fucking ugly. Anyways, one moment while I take another sip of this. Yes, it's a common way of making lies seem believable, rapid, and truth. Yeah, I mean, because no one. Very rarely do you see someone who's just like only saying non-truths, because that's just not very convincing, obviously. You're only going to convince like very, very dumb people of that, or highly impressionable people of that. But yeah, man, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. Well, here, if you want to be radicalized, on top of everything else, go study the studies on IQ and all the IQ literature. It's terrible. It's terrible because I don't want to believe it's true. I used to come from the sort of more liberal mindset of like, we all have equal capabilities. And look, I believe that we're all equal in value and we should be all equal under the eyes of the law, but we are not equal in capabilities. And when you study the IQ literature, it becomes, I just don't have an argument against it, unfortunately. And I wish I did, because the world could be a lot better place if it wasn't true, or also if you could just increase people's IQs. But there doesn't really seem to be much evidence that you can do that as well, like past like a certain level, really. Anyways, another talk for another time, perhaps. Let's go over to Stephen Schickman. He is looking at GLL, daily, weekly. Okay, this is the gold ultra short. Is it getting ready to go up here? Look, I am bearish on gold spot, so I should be bullish on this. But I always say this, Stephen. I always say this, man. If you're bearish on something, just fucking short it. Just fucking short it. If this is a leveraged short ETF, I really don't like that. Volatility decay will kill you. This actually might not be a leveraged ETF, so I feel like it would say, for one, and then two, it'd probably look a little bit nastier. Either which way, you do have hidden bullish evidence building right here. So I would have an upside bias here, just like I have a downside bias on gold spot. Look, gold spot is a lot easier of a chart to analyze, and you do have hidden bearish divergence building here. And also this would be a lower high on the green 55 EMA in a downtrend. So to me, that is textbook. I'm always going to look at that as a short setup because it's more likely to resolve in that way more often than not. Not every time, but more often than not. So would I be looking at some upside on GLL? Yes, I would be. Anyway, and you do have some divergences there. And you also have a very easy way to manage it, right? Because all you're looking at basically is what would be that next higher low, which is 1940. So as long as you're above 1940, stay bullish, stay long, look for a move back up to the $22 highs and probably beyond. I still think this thing is ultimately making, setting up for a move to like 25, 26, 27 bucks. Just might take a little bit longer. So yeah. Now, if it does lose that previous higher low at 1940, I'll change around my opinion. I'll be bearish on it. But until then, have to let the trend be my friend in this case. Anyways, Steven Schickman's back. He's looking at SMH. Oh, dear Lord. Another inverse, I think. No, it's not an inverse. Getting it all wrong today. Overall, really good. Overall, really, really good. You're asking if there's any divergences. Technically, no. On the weekly, on the daily time frame, there is. That was your pullback yesterday, but seeing as today's already, lifted up back around that previous high, I think that's basically played out. So when you're in a rally like this, Steven, I don't think it's wise to use a daily time frame to trade, because I imagine you've probably been in this thing for a while because you've been asking about it for a while. I'd really be looking at the weekly as a minimum and a monthly. I don't think this thing's topped out yet. I think this thing is going to go higher for the next few months. There's going to be pullbacks in between. You're going to see them on the daily, when you do get these drives of bearish divergence, but it's just a game of higher lows. And this is, to be fair, like a very aggressive higher low, but it is a higher low as of right now, and price action suggests to me it wants to just make new highs, like probably today, maybe tomorrow, at least sometime this week, and maybe it tries for a pullback later this month. But yeah, I wouldn't be calling tops here just yet. It's getting extreme. It's getting very, very extreme. Don't get me wrong, it is. I don't think this thing has another year of just straight rally mode. I think you got 2 to 4 or 5 months left to go. But yeah, cool. All right, let's see. Johnny Boy Crypto says, can you look at Osmo? Oh, we got our first crypto shitcoin of the day. Holy shit. Incredible. Osmosis. Is this, how long ago was this? Yeah, 2021 chick. Sir, hold on. I need this as a fucking meme too. How do I not have this one? How do I not have this one? Hey, you bastard. Don't turn off the sound. Don't waste my motherfucking time.
Don't waste my motherfucking time.
Not with this shit. Not with this fucking shit. As always, when it comes to shitcoins, it's a game of finding the lower highs. And I think you just found your next lower high. There's going to be some hidden bearish divergence on the weekly here, because your weekly RSI traded above even the highs going back to like, Jesus Christ, man, even going all the way back to like beginning of 2025. So that's very problematic. Yeah, I don't know. Probably topping out somewhere around here at 10 cents. It might give another couple tries at 10 cents, but yeah. Don't waste my motherfucking time with this shit. It's bad. It's very bad. Very, very bad. Very fucking bad. Worst chart of the day award goes to this highly esteemed piece of fucking steaming shit. Yeah. Again, not talking shit about you, my good man. Not talking shit about you. But about this chart, very bad. Very, very bad. The worst chart of the day award as of right now. At least as of yet. Yeah, man. Whatever the high was right here at like 13 cents or whatever, that's probably your high for the foreseeable future. Yeah. Yep. Cool. Andrew Plus says, I think we see a pullback on Tesla? I mean, define your timeframes here, right? If you're on an hourly, almost undoubtedly you're going to see a pullback at some point. On a daily time frame, Maybe. If you're FOMOing, man, it's like this is bad behavior in my opinion. Very bad behavior. Do I think there's going to be a pullback? I think yesterday was your pullback. You know, if you're going to chase this thing, it becomes very difficult. Where are you going to put your stop loss? Where do you invalidate bullishness here? The only place that makes sense to me is $400. So you got about a little bit more than 10% risk taking a position right here, using that as an invalidation point. Is that okay with? I mean, look, I don't think it's going to do that, but from here, like, does it pull back? And I think you're generally going up, man. I think you're just generally going up. Is there going to be a deeper pullback, like lower than what you've currently gotten to right now, or yesterday, I guess, at 423? That's not the call that I want to make. I probably wouldn't bet on below 420. If it goes below 420, probably just not worth having, to be honest. But 400 is my line in the sand. That's the only place that really makes sense for an invalidation to begin with. So it's like, do you chase it here? I think, look, I think if you chase it here, you're setting yourself up long term for just bad investment behaviors. Do I think it's going to work out for you? Probably yes. Should you do it? I'm not going to tell you to do it or not do it. I don't think it's going to, it's not going to promote the right behaviors, but it's up to you, man. It's up to you. Xanitram sounds like a drug. sounds like an anti-anxiety drug. Xanitram, 85. He's looking at Keel. I think we looked at this one earlier. I don't have anything new to say about it, so I think you're probably just joining a little bit later. So we're probably good to move on from this one. But overall, likely good. Short term, maybe a little bit more on this pullback. I mean, shit, even then, I look at the daily, and this thing's probably good as it is. I'll be looking for this thing to try another move towards 5.25 plus, something like that. You know, it might take like a month, but, overall fine. Overall fine. Short-term pullback, then onward to 650 or higher. You might get a short-term pullback here. It's looking like this thing's actually kind of strong in the short term, if anything, to me. So I wouldn't feel that confident on that. $6.50. I don't necessarily see, $6.50 just around this previous high. Somewhere around there, man. Overall, going up. You got a couple of higher lows right here. You got same highs. This is the makings of a reversal. I'm always going to err on the side of that in these cases, because more often than not, they do lead to some actually pretty impressive moves. So look, I think you're on the right side of it. I have no reason to be bearish on this thing, especially as long as you're above like, $3. So got a lot of leeway here, realistically, for a bigger move, more long-term. Gary says, how are Rev and Ribbons built? Is it a secret? I mean, obviously we're not going to give out like the underlying information of it, it's proprietary, right? But yeah, we would prefer to keep it a secret. Yes, of course. Yarbrook says, I've desired purchase price. PP. Yes, my PP as well on Don't let them near your fucking kids, man. Disney is symbol D. No, it's DIS. That's right. Actually, I will say, okay, I'm back on the fucking Disney train. I just started watching the Maul series, like Star Wars Maul series. It's like an anime, I used to think anime was only for homosexuals, but it's actually extremely cool. And I'm probably homosexual at this moment, because I've already gotten to like episode 5 in 2 days. It's great. It's fucking great. I love it. I love it, man. Anyways, on the weekly, I see $78 as probable. Okay. So you're looking for a pretty deep pullback here. You're saying probable, which means that it is more likely than not. So what I see here is that you are in a consolidation. That consolidation likely is probably going to be bullish long term. $78. So you're basically targeting a move back down towards the exact lows. I think that there is one thing that perhaps you're maybe not considering here, and that is that your current rising bottoms are coming in kind of on this trajectory right here. So that'd be a little bit higher. That'd be about $94.50. If I was in your position and I was looking to accumulate it, I think you do have a shot at that $78 number or $80 number, whatever, just around the low side of this boundary. Technically more close to $80, I guess. But I'd probably be buying along the way to the downside, if assuming that you really do like it, with an invalidation on any sort of a weekly or monthly closure below, the current lows. So yeah, the current lows of this consolidation. But yeah, I do think that you got a little more downside here. It's just currently, if you're still following this trend, which I think it is, that kind of should be about where you expect at least a try for a higher low at about $93.50, $94. If it fails there, then yeah, I think you get your target, and I think it's fine to play position there too. If I was in that position, I'd probably be buying at both. But I see what you're saying. I think there's good reason to believe that you are going to be right. I'm just thinking from my own perspectives, which may or may not be relevant to you. When I'm building like long-term positions, I will have, usually multiple areas that I'm looking at. The more I look at it, I think you probably are going to be right on that. Coming a little bit lower. Either which way, I think it's the right idea here. I'm sure people are going to look at the 6-month time frame and call it a head and shoulders. And I mean, to be fair, it kind of does have that in there, but highly doubt it plays out like that. That fucking mall, man, it's good. It's real good. It's real good. All right. Cloud Bussy is looking at cores. Oh man, it's been a long time since we've looked at this thing. I recognize the ticker. And it's actually done really, really well, apparently. So I'm curious why people have been bringing it up as of recent. But yeah, this thing's ready for new all-time highs, man. It's good. It's really, really good. I mean, it's already really got new all-time highs, But I think it's ready for some more new all-time highs, right? Just follow the yellow brick trend. It's nice and up and to the right. Nothing crazy about this thing. Very, very bullish as long as you're above, especially last week's low, for example. I don't really have really anything bad to say about it. I think you're making new highs probably even this week or at latest next week. How high can it go? I mean, I guess for this, we'd have to do the old Fibonacci extension just to get some areas of interest. And upon breaking out, I'd be looking at $28 to $29. Above there, about 32 3/4. And above there, I'd be looking at about 37.5 as my major numbers, on a confirmed breakout. I think it will at least hit somewhere up to like low 30s. But yeah. Looking pretty good, man. Looking pretty good. Again, invalidation at last week's low overall. LARP lines were even. The LARP lines were not bullish enough here. Anyways, we got Ricator next. He says daily, weekly on Nokia. Sure. The one Finnish corporation that has made it. And really good. Really, really good. I remember we looked at this on Monday for you, and we were saying it's good, and I still think it's really good, and I think it's going to go still up to about $15, $16 overall. At least. The question is, local high soon? Yeah, in terms of timing, but for right now, I don't think it's in just yet. I do think you do move probably somewhere around like $16. Maybe it ends up being like 17, but somewhere around 16, $17 is where I'd be looking for on the next local high on a daily, maybe even a weekly. Pulls back, and on a pullback, have to be looking for a higher low. But yeah, really impressive move right here. I think it's got more to go first. I mean, when I said like $16 to $17, that's, to be fair, that's like a 20% move. It's kind of a lot. So I do think it goes, to be fair, kind of like decently higher from where it's at right now before that next major pullback. Yeah. Don't fight the trend. Mr. Van Duysen, I see over there. Wow, we bought. Fuck yeah, man. Some mega supers. Wait, what? Mega supers. What's going on over here? CC says NTSK need a long-term entry. Bottom after a October 2025 IPO. I'll bring it up first and make comments later, I guess. Why do you want to buy this shit? Looking for a long-term entry. My preference is I wouldn't touch this thing with the fucking 10-foot pole. Like, this is ridiculous. At least as of right now. There's nothing resembling a higher low anywhere in sight. It's just straight shot down, similar to like Gemini, for example. And this can go on for a very long time, just like Gemini over here. I mean, no higher lows, no chance of a reversal in my book. For this thing, I think you're coming down from here. I think you probably even make new lows, over the next couple months. I don't know where it's going to bottom out, man. I don't have a good answer for you because I wouldn't do this in your situation personally. And like, if you're forcing a gun to my head and you are assuming that the low is already in and you're looking for a place to get long, you can play a position, I guess, somewhere around like $8.50 and use that previous low as your invalid. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's extremely likely to fail. I don't think it's the right move to make. I think that you're just throwing money into the fucking toilet at that point, man. Just my personal take. But yeah, look, if your question is you need a long-term entry, if your preferences are that you would like to hold something underwater for a very long time with no guarantee that it'll ever turn around, buy right now. I don't know, man. I wouldn't buy this. I need to see a higher low first, at minimum. There's not much to even base off of. I just think whatever buying you do, even if it comes back down to that previous low, it's going to be. Yeah, I would not. I would not. First, you need a higher low, man. If you don't have a higher low, your probability of having a real reversal is less than 10% from my, at least from what I've seen, probably way less than 10%. It's probably more like it's probably around like 5% if I had to guess. I almost never see reversals start with a higher high and then get a higher low after that. There is one example as of recent, which is Tesla. But that is absolutely the exception to the rule. Very rarely does it work like that. Arctic Fox says, can we take a look at FCX? Is this Freeport? FCX. Yeah, it is Freeport. Do you think there's a breakout coming? Daily or weekly looks like it's ready. I bought the bottom of the move up last week. So you bought like $56. Nice. Really well done. I think that's a position worth holding here. Yeah, I think that this thing's moving into all-time highs likely this month and probably for the next few months. This is good. Nothing bearish about this thing. I mean, shit, man, even as long as you're above this week's low, there's no reason to be even like remotely bearish or even short-term bearish. This is good. This is good, man. I wouldn't overthink this. This is, you got a beautiful position. Super easy to manage. I love it, man. I love it. All right, cool. Sweet. All right. Gary is shilling the chart, guys. That's great. Thank you for super chatting to let us know. Anyways, Pizza says, GM Krown, thoughts on XRP? Is it failing? I don't know. Let's go check it out. Is it failing? I mean, it is coming down. I imagine if Bitcoin comes down, this thing will come down as well. Got a little bit of bearish divergence right there, I guess. I'd still watch Bitcoin for direction, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I got up to what, 150. I was targeting 160 as a minimum for like the last couple months. Got a lot of time wasted on that shit, huh? Yeah. Is it failing? I wouldn't call it a failure just yet. I'd probably wait for Bitcoin to give its signal and then call this thing a failure. I think that's a little bit easier way to analyze these. The other way to call this thing a failure is if it came back down below about 138. But yeah, if Bitcoin closed below about 79,250, which right now is actually above, to be fair, then I wouldn't call it just yet. I'd give it the benefit of the doubt. As long as Bitcoin's about 79,250. Again, rules are rules, man. Rules are rules. Bitcoin shows the direction, and then altcoins move in varying degrees of strength or weakness. So I wouldn't say just yet. It is very close. If Bitcoin fails, then you can almost guarantee that XRP will as well. So yeah. All right, cool. I think Tom is next. Let me just scroll back up here. UAMC. Yeah, we look at this one a lot as well. Very popular here. Very, very popular. Unusual machines. Daily, I kind of like this as a higher low. I think this thing probably goes a little bit sideways enough from here. Weekly has hidden bullish divergence. So yeah, I think it's still okay. Anyways, you're saying earnings tomorrow, maybe not the best sign. Want to enter to catch the last ride, enter now, it's really difficult to play around earnings, man. Unless you have a crystal ball or you're an insider, I don't think it's wise to do so. You can have good earnings and dump to all hell. You can have great earnings. You can have good earnings and dump to all hell, and you can have terrible earnings and pump to all heavens. If I'm looking at this thing over the long term, I think it's good. I think it's fine. What happens right before earnings? What happens right after earnings? I think it's going to be a blip on the radar. I don't know. If you enter here, where's your risk? Your risk is $13. So you got about little under 10% risk. Is that acceptable to you or not? I don't know. Yeah. You're targeting $24 by the end of summer to leave. Well, if you get up to $24, look, again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I would just say if your target is $24, and let's assume your target gets hit, I think that's a terrible target because you're probably going to break out to significantly new all-time highs from there. That's your previous high right here and right here. I would take some profit for sure, but if you get back up there, you're almost undoubtedly setting up for like a real mega breakout, in which case you're going to be going a lot higher, probably 35 or so plus. As far as earnings, I don't know what to tell you because I don't have a crystal ball and I'm not an insider, and I personally do not like to play those sort of things. So yeah. Okay, Pricey 9378 says Microsoft Daily Plus. Okay, Daily Plus. Nice. Weekly, not great. Daily, not great. Monthly, it's probably putting in a low at that 350, 360 number, but I think it's going to probably come back down close to that low and make you wait. Yeah, long term, I think this is a low. Short term, I think you got some sideways and down. I don't think it's going to make new lows, or at least if it does, it's going to be short lived. The quarterly wants to put in a higher low here, and you do have this setup for hidden bullish evidence as well. So I like that. I think it's probably going to be fine long term, just as it has been performing as one of the best since 1986. But in the short term, can you have a little bit more on this pullback? Sure. I don't feel that strongly about where it lands. My strong opinion is on the quarterly and the monthly and just all higher term time frames. I'd be very bullish on this thing as long as you're above about 350, especially. Yeah. Until then, who knows what happens in the short term? I think you got a little bit of downside there. But yeah, saying much more than that, I don't feel very confident on. Okay. The Francus. I mean, if they're French, then yeah, it's probably bad. French, all bad things come from France. Some good things come from France too, but many bad things come from fucking communism came from France. Many people don't know that, but communism was actually mostly a French idea. Karl Marx was kind of just reappropriating it. Not that he was a fucking great guy either. I mean, fuck all of those guys, really. Ella Swan says lunar earnings tomorrow before open pullback area. I think you probably get a pullback like right after earnings, if anything. It probably is going to rally up into those earnings and then pull back after. So personally, I'm probably going to sell a little bit at the end of today. But yeah, when it comes to earnings, just expect a lot of volatility. I can't tell you what's going to happen because I have no fucking clue what's going to happen on earnings. Really, like, random shit happens, and it's not just about earnings, it's about the forwards outlooks, and then it's about the interpretation of that. All of this is subjective. It's very, very difficult in the short term. The long term, you can extrapolate from that for sure. But yeah, anyways, Hamza says, Krown, you should stick to trading, not politics. You are somewhat lobotomized in that field. Thank you for letting me know that you disagree with my opinion. Obviously, based off your name, you're probably from a different persuasion. Hamza, I wonder where you're from. It's like, great. Yes, I disagree with you. Don't fucking talk about it, bro. Don't even fucking think about talking about something that I disagree with. It's going to be a difficult time for you in the world, sir. Anyways, yeah, go fuck yourself. Anyways, yeah, pullback area. I mean, it has been a pretty impressive rally here. I think it probably rallies a little bit more into that earnings. And then if I had to guess, it is going to be a sell-off after earnings. That sell-off probably ends up being an opportunity. But when you get a real volatile name like this, of course, it's going to, these can be fucking massive moves, man. I mean, you could have like a quick move back down, 10, 15%, pick itself up on a higher low, and then continue to march up higher. So really, really difficult to play. In my opinion, if you're not already, like, when it comes to earnings, the easy position to take is on the peripheries after earnings happens. But yeah, anyways, I'm just going to ban that person. Like, fuck him. Can you do a giveaway for, dude, most of my shit is free, man. Most of my shit is fucking free. Most of my shit is free, man. Look, TA 101, free. Central Command, which tells you how to make an AI trading agent and AI infused indicators, all free. Even the platform's free. The Options 101 playlist is free. The long-term investor program I'm making right now is free. You can get free trials on the stuff that's paid as well, man. Look, most of it is already free. I can only go so far. But yeah, all right, cool. What else we got here, man? What else we got? Crypto Shard says, Pendle on the daily, more gas in the tank. More gas in the tank. Pendle. Yeah, this one used to be really popular like a couple years ago, but as with most shitcoins, it fails. And does this one have more gas in the tank? If it does, I think you maybe get up to like 230. But again, if Bitcoin fails here, you're going to see this thing fail as well, right? So it's not like, it's just easier to watch Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does not fail here, I think you could extend this run. Actually, I mean, like, kind of a decent amount, 230, 240 is percentage-wise, it's like a, 15, 20% move. So it's not bad. But look, whether it's already gotten the next lower high right here, whether it moves up a little bit more, I think is kind of irrelevant. But you got a lot of things coming in at that 230 number, I think it is, it's more like 238. You have 200 simple, you have price action pivot, you have the 55 EMA, all conversion at the same area, you have extreme volatility, and you do have the potential for severe, nasty, ugly, hidden bearish divergence right here. This high on the weekly RSI is higher than anything that we see for the past, year almost. So yeah, man, whether it's here, where it's a little bit higher, I think you're topping out right there. If Bitcoin closed below that 79,250 number today, I'd be looking at this thing as likely topping here, basically. So yeah. All right, cool. I wasn't scared of the coronavirus, not scared of the Honda virus either. Can always count on you for some good comments, sir. Yeah, cool. Boo Boo Gaga. Boo Boo Gaga says, Pavel Durov's Toncoin, is he actually behind it? That's a real question to me. I remember this one was also popular. Maybe it was like this summer or last summer. Yeah, I'm not going to like this. This is a great place for another lower high and down only from there. Yeah, just not good. Just not good. Again, your weekly RSI is already trading higher than what you saw from July of last year when it was trading all the way at like 375. So nearly a 2x, not good. Not good. And just you have a history of being terrible as well for this chart too. So in my opinion, for 99% of shitcoins, the game is to wait for rallies like this. And then if you want, short them. I mean, the trend is your friend. Anyways, Orthodox Quant says, can you look at URG, UR Energy? Yeah, you looked at, yeah, I think you brought this one up on Monday too. Yeah, good. Bullish. This thing's ready to move. Whether it's this month, whether it's next month, I think you're going to see like another retest of the highs from October of last year and probably just breaks out from there. You got a real reversal on your hands too on the quarterly. You got a higher low right here, got same highs right here. This thing, I'm going to write this thing down. Like, this is not bad at all. See, this is why I do these streams, man. Find a lot of good stuff. Find a lot of good stuff. Cool. All right, sweet. Let's move on now. We got Tim Man. He's looking at Palantir for next higher low. Sure. All right, Palantir. Actually, do still have a small core position, but I still personally think that this one's going lower. I think it's doing it right now. I think defense stocks, it's not that I think defense stocks are being rotated to the downside for these past couple months. And so this thing, I really do think is setting up for a move closer to like 100 overall. Now, does it end up bottoming at 110? Does it end up bottoming at like 85? I don't know, but I do think it is downside from here. When we look at the weekly time frame, it's very clearly a lower high after lower high after lower high with same lows right here. So that is a bearish bias. And there is an implied move to be made off of this because it is, I mean, it's more or less it's a descending triangle. So I'm curious what that would say. These are more like guides rather than like hard targets, but that's pointed at like 91, 92 bucks. So I would like to buy some more, but I'd like to buy it lower. And looking at the higher term time frame, I mean, this thing, I think it's very reasonable to assume that this thing's topped out for a very long time. So yeah, something like that, man. Something like that. Love Florida. We visit a couple times a year, but not Disney yet. I mean, honestly, man, even though I'm not really like a Disney person, it is fun to go to. It is interesting to go to. All right, we got that. Run Mountains has posted a message and then retacted it. Don't know why. You had Dan on years ago, thought he was a friend. Yeah, but it's very bizarre for you to post, I guess. I don't know, it just kind of came out of nowhere, kind of strange. Yeah, man, no, I'd consider him a friend, but just from what you post just comes off as like weird shilling. Yeah, man, that's all I got to say about that. Like, if that wasn't your intention, then hey, I misinterpreted that and all good. I mean, it's really not a big deal either way, to be honest. But yeah, just look, if I think something's a little bit strange, I'm going to say, man, just speaking my mind, that's all. Yeah, looks like Run Mountains has not posted another message, so I actually don't know. Unfortunately, we have to move on, man. I always feel bad when someone does that. I feel like they made a mistake or something. What? Anyways, cool. All right. Evil Gargoyle with Swords says, Zur, have we looked at Circle looking for an entry? No, we haven't not looked at Circle just yet. Check it out over here. Yeah, look, I did buy some on Circle. I bought it a little bit lower than where it's at right now, and I still have the same thing to say about it as before. I do think that this is a reversal right here, or at least it has the makings of it. You got the weekly higher low, and you already tested that last previous weekly lower high. So this is a real potential for a setup, and this is kind of what I'm talking about, where you get that higher low first, then you follow through with the higher high. And in this case, as soon as it closes above 138, then yeah, you got your higher high, and I'm looking 150, 200. I mean, just bullish after that point. Now, of course, you got a big event coming up with Circle this week, right? With the Clarity Act, and I'm sure that's going to have, some effect on price action. So, look, if I'm just looking at the daily right here, I like it. If you're entering right here, where's your risk? Your risk is about $100 or 105 according to the price action pivot. If you're cool with that risk, then make the decision. If you're not cool with that risk, I wouldn't do it, but that's a preference. Risk is 105. Below there, it's a failure. Above there, I lean into it. Leaning into a reversal, like a real reversal. Cool. All right. We got Tom next. He's looking at UMAC. Man, I think we've looked at this one like 3 times today. The question now is breakout Q3 or Q4 likely. Like which one's more likely? I don't know which one's more likely. Maybe Q3. As long as it's above 12 3/4, it's bullish. Like, just don't overthink it. That's my main point on something like this. Just don't overthink it. As long as you're above that last pivot, it is bullish. The timing of the move, I don't know. It might even be this month, man. It's possible. I don't feel strongly about the timing of this one. I just feel strongly about the pivots there. Anyways, Cloud Debussy says ASML on Euronext. Okay. Daily, weekly, ASML. Gotcha. All right. Okay. Yeah, good. Really good. Really good. New all-time highs and new all-time highs, more new all-time highs, and just a very long-term, multi-decade history going back to 1995 being extremely bullish. So yeah, I think it's good, man. I think it's good. You did say on Euronext. I'm on NAS right now, so let's go to Euronext. Yeah, same thing here. It's just, I guess, in euros, I suppose, as the name would imply. I'm bullish on this thing, even as long as you're above this week's low. I think it's ready to break out to new all-time highs. It's already made new all-time highs this week, so it's not saying much, but it's just generally bullish. As long as you hold this week's low, just let it float up and to the right. It's good. It's very good. Yeah, I guess we could pull up some Fibonacci extension targets. See what this prints here. Yeah, breakout of the 1345 number should lead to a move towards like 1540, 1550, whatever. From there, maybe like 1800 if it does get continuation. But yeah, overall good. Long-term history is very good. Don't know what it is, don't know what it does, but I think it's good. Oh, wait, what? Okay, whatever. I'm reading bullshit out of context, probably don't even know. Yeah, nice. All right, Freddie M is here. He's looking at Black Sky, blow through $50 soon. Well, hold on, man. We just hit our long-term target at $42. Is it going to blow through to $50 now? Let's not get hasty. I mean, it is still good. Holy shit. So it hit the $42 target, popped back down for like a nearly 30% retracement to fucking $30. Crazy. It might, man. It actually might. That's kind of the crazy thing about this thing. Yeah. I would continue to be bullish on it here as long as you're above about 36.25. So that gives you about a 10% buffer. I don't feel not like that strong on this one, but look, given my system, I should actually still be bullish right here. If you start to close back above 42 3/4, then I would validate the next breakout. Are you looking at $50 at that point? Probably. Do I think it's going to like plow through $50? I don't know about that, man. Take it one step at a time. Like, you're probably looking at like $51, $52 if it gets that continuation. Again, needs to close above 42.75 in order to validate that. Until then, it's looking good. It's in a position to do it. In validation on bullishness below about $35.5, $36 basically. And then you're looking at SPIR. Hold on. Let's respond to this message really quick. Spire Global. Okay, good. Very good. Daily time frame up. And yeah, long term, not a humongous fan of it, but I do think you get at least another test of the high from February of last year. That would be what, like 21.5-ish, somewhere around there. From there, I don't really have a strong opinion on it. Not sure about this long-term history. You do have higher lows right here. So technically, if you do close above 21.5 or 21, about $21.5, I guess I would validate a reversal, but it's not going off of much. I wouldn't feel that strongly about it. Could it go to $30 soon? It's not my first target, man. It's yeah. Look, if it reclaims the high, do I think you're going to go to $30? Yeah, actually yes. But that's contingent upon the monthly's ability to really reclaim $21.5 on a monthly closing basis. Until then, not going off of much here, man. I just don't like these charts that hang down like this for very long periods of time. It just makes me think they're just going to fail. So yeah. Bob Jansen says ICGA, China ETF. ICGA. Yeah, good. It's good. Hidden bullish divergence on what would be the next higher low. I think you're popping back up towards that 5,700 high over the next few months, most likely. Yeah, monthly hidden bullish divergence outlook for next. Okay, I don't know about next year, man. Like we're getting way too ahead of ourselves. I do think this is your next higher low, and I do think you're going to move back up towards these highs. After that happens, I mean, look, that might take like 3 to 6 months, man. One step at a time. Bullish as long as you're above 48 or 4.8. Until then, just don't complicate it. It's going up. I don't know about next year, man. That's very far away. Let's like get to the beginning of next year first. Then maybe we'll have some looks on that. Run Mounds says, now we found him. Okay, MicroStrategy. Fuck yeah, man. Thank you for popping back with that. Yeah, we can do a little bit of MicroStrategy. Let's see. But what time frame? Hold on. Weekly. Okay, daily and weekly. Probably easier to watch Bitcoin here as well. Daily does have more bearish signals than Bitcoin, though. 123 drives a bearish divergence on Caretaker's RSI. I've already got a decent pullback to 175, trying for a short-term bounce. Usually, when you get 3 drives of bearish divergence, you will break down. In which case, if you do, I'm looking at 160 to 150 region. Yeah, weekly RSI kind of makes me think that this will be a local high as well. And you do pop back down closer to like 150-ish, 155, let's say. But here's the thing. I do think that 120 tick over here is the low. I actually do think that is the low. Yeah. Other than that, man, I don't have a very strong opinion on it. Again, probably easy to watch what Bitcoin does. And Bitcoin is fighting off of that 79,250 number. So again, I have to stick with my rules. I can't really be short-term or medium-term bearish on Bitcoin until it does that. We got another almost 6 hours left in the trading day to go, so a lot can happen, I guess. But for right now, it is still holding above those. So, yeah, man. Cool. All right. Wait. Oh yes. Okay. There we are. Andrew Plus says, "What kind of upside targets do you see on URG?" Where's my URG? We're just there. Okay, so going to make an if and then statement. If it does reclaim what I think are probably the January highs, which is about $2, $2.03. If you can reclaim those, I'd be looking at $2.50. I think is extremely likely. Probably even $2.78 is extremely likely. From there, you get into kind of crazy territory. If you're looking further north, somewhere between like 315 to 325, in like best of case scenario, it's also your previous all-time high. So that would be a natural point actually of interest. In fact, now that I look at it for the more long term, if you do get that breakout, you probably do move your way up there, and that's where I'd be expecting a big major correction, like big fucking correction. Yeah, we're going for a little bit longer. We're kind of getting to the end of the stream right now, though, but I'll do the last few super chats here. J Meg says STIM weekly. STIM, S-T-I-M. Okay. Neuronetics, not good. Out of all of the amazing charts we've seen today, this is absolutely not one of them. Hidden bearish divergence on the last weekly lower high, also rejecting the green 55 EMA. Again, this is like the textbook stuff that I traditionally call out when it comes to like shit coins. It is a medical stock, so these things do have the potential to have like shitcoin type moves, but I don't think that's what's happening here. I think this thing is just getting ready for more down. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think this thing's probably coming back down to that 78-cent low and probably just going lower from there, man. It's not good. This thing's never had a real uptrend. It just has these popcorn rallies. So the game remains the same until proven otherwise, which is just look for lower highs. And I think you just found one right there. Cool. Itachi Bitcoin says, okay, sir, have you not gotten the memo? Just one chick one at a time. We'll do ASTS because I think this one, no time frames given as well. Hidden bullish divergence on this weekly low. I don't really know what to do with it though, to be honest, because it doesn't look super strong to me. I guess if I'm looking at this, man, I don't know if you're short term, I don't know if you're long term, but if I'm looking at this run from like a medium or long term perspective, you do have a pretty obvious way to analyze this. This month's low needs to be the low if this thing is going to have a chance to be bullish more long term. If it loses this month's low at $63.50, this thing's fucked for a very long time. You're going to fight off many drives of bearish evidence. You're probably heading significantly lower towards $40. Until that happens, though, I think it's okay to run with a bullish bias, but I'm getting some signals over here on the weekly and the daily. But they're not looking that strong, to be honest. It'd look a lot better to me if it actually could reclaim this week's high, even at 85.25. That would look a lot more confidence-inducing. Until then, I would err on the side of bullishness, I guess. But once that invalidation gets hit, I would turn to mega, ultra, super fucking duper bear. Quarterly does not look good to me either. The quarterly looks to me like it probably does break down over time, but yeah, I'd still stick to the plan there, basically. Druin Patel has left a super chat, but no message again. I'll wait it out for your message, ma'am. Cool. All right. Andrew Plus says one more rando stock, SLNH. Okay, I don't think I've ever seen this one. SLNH. All right. Then we'll get to Druven. I see that he just commented. Not fucking good, sir. What the fuck?
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. Sir, why? I'm guessing you're probably in a lower time frame like this. Look, if you're trying to get one of these popcorn rallies, you're playing a guessing game. I only have the same thing to say about this as I do as most shitcoins. When you get a rally and you get topping signals, which we actually don't have just yet, these are shortable. But until then, I don't know what to do with it right here. Can it go up more? Maybe. I mean, the daily probably does want to go up more. You know, maybe it heads up to like $2.90, $3. But I'm just looking for lower highs on something like this, man. Really despise stocks that looks like this. Like, really despise them. Mr. Patel says, I have fig calls. Fig. Okay, hold on. Figma. Okay, $25 call. God, terrible. Oh my God, this is terrible. Oh my God. Earnings is oh my God. Earnings tomorrow and it's heavily shorted. Yeah, duh. Should I hold this thing into earnings and next month? Software sector is a laggard. No, there's been plenty of software stocks that we've seen even today that have been on tremendous rallies. This is not it. This has only had a history of going down. Like this. If you're buying naked fucking calls or naked puts, you are almost always going to lose. Almost always. You are now about to enter into earnings, and your volatility is going to get crushed. So you're going to lose money on that. You're also going to lose money on this because it's going to go more down. Unless if they have like a fucking gift from God in which on earnings, which propels the stock up by, you know, some act of existentialism. I don't fucking know, man. But that's a different game. That's a different game. If you're an insider and you know that, then shit, man, fucking go for it, I guess. But look, do I think? Okay, first off, should have never buy fucking naked premiums. Holy shit, don't do it. Watch the Options 101 program. It's like rule number fucking one when it comes to options. If you're buying naked premiums, you are gambling. You will lose long term, almost always. No, you will lose long term. You won't always lose, but almost always you will lose. This is a terrible position. You are holding. I don't know necessarily when you bought this. Maybe bought it recently, in which case that would be an even worse, dude, because you're about to get fucking crunched on your volatility, man. You're gonna lose money even if it goes up on those calls. Like you can't. I'm not saying that you can't do it. Look, my rule is you don't fucking do that. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. In your situation, what would I do? I would have watched the Options 101 playlist and never fucking taken that position. If you want to be bullish on something like this, just buy the underlying. I think it's a terrible do as well, just based off of the history here, man. But you're basically betting on some sort of act of God for earnings that helps you out. That's a different game. I think that this is a terrible game to play long term. If it works out for you, it's gonna promote the most worst behaviors long term for you. I do hope it works out for you because I don't like it when people lose money, obviously. But at the same time, it's like for the long term, man, it is going to be really fucking. That is just the worst thing to do. Worst thing to do. Buying calls into fucking earnings. Don't do it. You're just wasting money, man. Just wasting money. Unless you got inside information or something like that, you're just wasting money buying naked premiums. Just buy the spot underline if you want to be long, if you really do like it. In which case, I would say I certainly do not like this, but hey, at least that's a more defensible position than the other, but not by much. Not by much, unfortunately. Tom is back. He's looking at symbol FLR. Weekly, monthly, thinking selling the loser for a winner. Always a good idea. Always a good idea. You're looking at Fluor Corporation. Yeah, it's not a major winner when most things in this market are going fucking crazy. And I would agree with you that it's probably the right call to do. At the same time, I do think it is going to go up from here. I do think that this is the low at 39.5, 39.25, whatever it is. But is it going to go up as much as other things or as fast as other things? Maybe not. Yeah, I don't think it's going to actually be a loser. I think that this thing does go to the upside overall. If and when it does break out, you're probably looking at 70-ish, which is not a bad move. I mean, from where you're at right now, it's great, but that might take some time. But yeah, it probably is going to resolve bullishly, man. I don't necessarily know when or where you bought it. Not that necessarily I should, but I would say it is probably okay. It probably does end up being bullish. If you want to hold on to it, I mean, if you might have to hold on to it for a long time to realize that move. And of course, there is, as always, an invalidation, which in this case would be 38.25. But as long as you're above that number, I mean, it's not really bearish. It's just, or sorry, even 39.25. It's not necessarily bearish, just sluggish and not as interesting as many of the things. So again, that we've seen today. Bob Jance says HXL monthly and above entered at $80. Okay. HXL, okay, Hexel Corporation, and you're saying you entered at $80. Okay, you're in the money big on a bullish asset. This is good. I like this. I like this a lot. Fucking yes. Monthly is on the 9 EMA, looking for new highs. Thoughts? Yeah, I'd be bullish on this. Yes, absolutely, man. I think this thing's going to continue new all-time highs. Quarterly time frame's very healthy. You got quarterly RSI getting back to the bullish control zone for the first time since fucking 2019. And this is on rising volatility. I think this is a real breakout here, man. I think this is a real breakout, and you're probably going to get a big move over the next, 3 to 6 months. I think it's going to go, 100 plus. Probably, I mean, when it gets its real breakout, you're probably going to see like 107 to 112 as a major target, then 128.5. And if things get, really crazy, then maybe 150, 155. But overall, yeah, it's really good, man. Short term, you're going to see some zigs and zags, obviously. Maybe it's not necessarily ready to break out to new highs like today, this week, you could very easily see a pullback back down kind of around your entry, around about $85, $86, but that's still bullish. It's just bullish as long as you're above that March low of 76 and it's basically $77. So yeah, cool. All right. Abs Boss says, thanks for the autistic TA. Thank you, sir. We'll get to that in a bit, but let me answer the super chats first. Itachi is back. He's looking at PENG. Is this the crypto shitcoin or an actual stock? It might be an actual stock. It also might be a crypto shitcoin because there are both actually. The stock is great, obviously. The stock is great, but I don't know if this is actually what you're talking about based off of your previous request. I do think you're going to find a local high here relatively soon. I wouldn't necessarily get bearish when it does pull back, but realize that on a volatile stock like this, it could pull back quite severely to even like $40 and still be a higher low, still be bullish long term. Long term, I don't think it's topped just yet, like for the long term, but short term, you're probably looking at a local high very soon. Just hitting extremes all across the board here. So yeah, don't be surprised if this thing has like a volatile spike down. But yeah, I'd still be bullish as long as you're above about $39.5 to $40. Critin B says SMR, full hour. Sure. Okay. Lower term timeframes here, but that's all right. New Scale Power Corporation. Okay. New one for me. Don't like it. Long term, obviously don't like it, but short term, not that relevant. 4 hour time frame does have hidden bullish divergence on what would be your next higher low here. So as long as you're above that low at $11.5, you can play it as a higher low, like looking for a move back towards 13.10, 13.50 or so. Yeah, something like that. If you do lose that $11.5 low, then yeah, I'd capitulate and be bearish and look for this thing to come back down to about $10. But yeah, man, Guppy attempting a transition. Yeah, you mean like the Guppy, like the it's like a moving average ribbon. Yeah, I can see it. You can definitely see it's fighting off moving averages right here, and it's gonna have a chance. Maybe the daily will show it a little bit better. Nah, long term, not good. definitely not my favorite one long term, but short term, I think that you probably do have an upside try there. Cool. Okay, let me get back to that last one. DG on Euronext. What is this? It's Dollar General on NYSE, but over here is something different. Technically lower high, and same lows right there, so I should be buy. So let's look at the long term though and see if that holds up. Less so on the long term. But I do think if I had to guess, you're probably going to pull back a little bit more towards 120, 121. Yeah. Long term, it is still bullish though. So if you do pull back more short term, it's probably an opportunity. I don't really have any reason to get bearish on this thing, especially as long as you're about 115, let's say. So pull back here, probably a higher low. Confirmation of next mega breakout above 138.5. We'll do a couple more, then we'll shut it off. Okay. Asty's here. She's looking at hype. Yeah, let's check that. Hopefully, is this one actually pulling back now? This one's been like so steady at the highs for so long. So yeah, we're actually going to get a move here. It looks to me like this is finally going to happen. Hidden bearish divergence on a weekly, on a weekly basis. I think that you are in for a pullback now. 36.80 to 35.5 is kind of where I'd be looking for. Short term, like daily, if you're just looking at the daily, I do think you try a bounce here on the daily first. But that bounce can bounce up all the way to like 41.5, $42 and still be a lower high. That's the problem with it. So I technically you should wait for the weekly closure, because the weekly closing anywhere below about 30, or let's just call it $40. Yeah, the weekly closing below $40 will confirm that hidden bearish divergence. And then I just look for any rally to short if I had to take a position, and look for it to come back down here. It's had its chance to break out. It had 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks at the highs. So I would certainly personally be leaning to the downside on this one. Cool. All right. Okay. Last, and 10 more last. One. Crypto Ninja says, CDU, daily weekly. Gotcha, man. SIDU. Okay. Cita space. What the fuck am I looking at? I mean, okay, in the shorter term, you do have potentially a higher low in here, I guess. It's just the long term really makes me back away from being optimistic on this thing. God, I don't think I really know on this one, man. Trying to find like obvious points of inflection. That's obviously, okay, so 539. That is your breakout number. I think you should have a bullish bias on this one in the interim, as long as you hold higher lows above about 260, 270. But I do not feel confident on this, man. I really don't. The long-term history is atrocious. The short-term does show that we could very easily see one more test of the top side of this upper boundary that's been worked on since when? Since 2024. That would be about $5.40 to $5. That is also a breakout pivot as well, if you can actually close above there. But that is another big question, I guess. If that were to happen, you're probably in for a tremendous move. But for right now, I guess it's okay to be optimistic. I would invalidate bullishness below about $2.50. That's where I look at this thing as just another failure. And, that is par for the course here. So that is the more wise thing to be looking for. Yeah. But if I'm looking at the higher term timeframes, it should have one more try to the upside. See what happens after that, man. Anyways, we'll sign off on that note. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone joining in. As always, been an absolute pleasure speaking with you on this nice little Wednesday morning. We shall reconvene tomorrow for just another regular video upload, and then Friday again for another live stream. We shall end on that note. Take care.